Good evening. This meeting of December 10th, 2012 of the Dubuque Community School District Board of Education is called to order. Our mission is to develop world-class learners and citizens of character in a safe and inclusive learning community. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barton?
Here.
Mr. Byteen?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Donahue?
Here.
Mr. Kruger?
Present.
Ms. Ryan? Here. Mr. Strelo?
Present.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve, Board of Education, we do the pledge? All right, sorry.
Our Pledge of Allegiance this evening is going to be led by a very special group from Mound Elementary School. Do you want to step up to the microphone one at a time and tell us who you are, and then you can stand on this red carpet?
My name is Seth Conley. My name is Will Sullivan. My name is Sophia Bitter. My name is Paige Perkins.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good job.
Awesome.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on November 12th and the work session on November 27th, 2012 as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on November 12th and the work session on November 27th, 2012 as submitted. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to red carpet recognition, and as always, we welcome Cheryl Werner, and always great things to tell us about the school district.
Thank you. We are thrilled again to be invited back. We have more good news for Dubuque Community School District, and I'd like to ask my two partners to please come forward. I'm inviting Ted Stieber, Vice President of the Foundation Board, and again my partner Peg Johansson, Development Director from Dubuque Community School District Foundation. Thanks to the talented grant writing skills by our partner Peg Johansson from the Dubuque Community School District Foundation, $21,142 was spent on band and orchestra instruments. The project, entitled Hands-On Instruments, was a collaborative effort between our arts department and Dubuque Community School District Foundation. We specifically listed needed instruments for Jefferson Middle School and its feeders, Audubon, Fulton, Marshall, and Prescott, based on requests from our instrumental music directors, Beth Wertman, Michelle Mentz, and David Patterson. All of these are given to us as gift from the Dubuque Racing Association. And I'd like to ask Mr. Stieber to please say a few words at this time.
Thanks, Cheryl. And as a representative for the foundation, it's always a pleasure to work with the school board. We know each other, we talk to each other outside, but it's great when it all comes together as part of the foundation for the school district. But it's also great working with partners like the DRA to come and bring this grant and bring these musical instruments to these kids. It's something that's going to live for generations. These things will be in our schools for many generations and will benefit many children. And we can't say enough for the generosity of the DRA. And actually, this actually started with the Fall Foundation grant. I don't know if everybody remembers that wonderful gift. Because of that gift, then the DRA could do that, and Peggy found this out and was able to piggyback this and get even more instruments for us. So continue to thank all those donors that have given to us, and thank you to the DRA. Thanks, everyone.
We were able to purchase 21 band instruments and 30 orchestra instruments. And what I'd like to do is then introduce, we're going to have a special performance tonight by 4 members of the Hillhawks, who are part of their band program. Their director is Beth Wertman, Principal Phil Kramer. Tonight we welcome Samantha Duvey on the flute, Brianna Fry on the clarinet, Michaela Henry on the bass clarinet, and Michaela Updegraff on the tenor sax. Take it away, ladies. This generous gift has also helped us meet the needs of students. Last year in orchestra, we had 388 student musicians. This year, we have 429. Last year, our band featured 561 student musicians. This year, we are at 673.
Wow.
Again, thank you, Dubuque Community School District Foundation and the Dubuque Racing Association.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Ted, for the Dubuque Community School District Foundation, and certainly our partnership with the D area continues to benefit and produce great outcomes like this. We always appreciate your time. Board salutes. You want to get it? Oh.
Well, ironically, gee, they're all gone. I'd like to just say a few words here about our school district, and also especially I see Phil Kramer's back there. I still mentor every Wednesday over at Jefferson, and I'm there every day, and I meet the kids on Wednesdays. I talk to them. I talk to Phil, talk to administration, and George will remember about 3-4 years ago when we were going through some of the projects that we were looking at. Jefferson was also on the hot spot there as far as doing some things for Jefferson and all. And there was a lot of animosity in the community, but I just want to point out that the staff and these kids over at Jefferson, they should be commended for what's going on out there. Just a couple articles that were in the paper. They have a bullying committee there. 3 young ladies have undertaken it to the next level, gone to Des Moines and talked with the governor. Another article on they have assistants looming in the middle school, actually knitting hats for the community, for people in need. This is a good example of kids that are in need are giving to the needy. And I think we ought to take a lesson from that. And I just want to and see Phil here, I want to appreciate everything that Jefferson is doing out there. and the kids, just whatever you're doing it right, and I just want to make a formal thank you for that. So.
Thank you, Otto. Any other board salutes?
I believe we had a heck of a Lego activity this weekend, huh? Was it all 3 middle schools that were involved with that? I know we had, was it
And some
Jefferson?
elementaries as well.
Carver. Carver.
There was people from
Massachusetts.
Des Moines, or not,
Cedar Rapids, yes.
I can't think of, I think it's just starting to grow.
Yeah, that's great. And I think Randy Farnham over at Washington Middle School was one of the key people involved with that, I believe. He sent the email today.
Yes, actually, Randy is now in charge of our science programming. So he's a
okay.
teacher on special assignment here at the Forum.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And a Lego expert.
And Lego. It teaches a lot of great skills. You know, there's some math, some engineering, some creative thinking about
Problem solving.
Problem solving, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone within the earshot of my voice that may want to address the board at this time?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I move that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda. Is there anyone at the table that would like to pull anything out for any further discussion? Not hearing so, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to Facilities Support Services Committee report. Mr. Byte.
Mr. President, thank you. We had our meeting recently and undertook a number of items. For those of you keeping score, the Facilities Support Services Committee reviews all number of issues where there's any kind of significant outlay or investment, and certainly anything related to facilities. We had a number of items, and I'll begin with the first and move through them as efficiently as possible. Move the Board of Education authorize the superintendent to submit to the Iowa Department of Education a request for modified allowable growth for dropout prevention for the 2013-2014 school year in the amount of $4,210,927, or the maximum allowed by the department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent to submit to the Iowa Department of Education a request for modified allowable growth for dropout prevention for the 2013-14 school year in the amount of $4,210,927.
We want to have Kevin just briefly outline this.
Actually, I think we'll ask Shirley to do that.
Okay.
Shirley's in charge of that.
All right. I much prefer you to Kevin. Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, the dropout dollars every year are, as was in your board tab, it is taxpayer money that the state allows us to levy, and they allow modified allowable growth on that 5% increase per year as outlined. Basically, our programs are going to remain somewhat similar to last year. Usually the ALC Connect program is pretty fully funded from our dropout dollars. We also have programs that go from the elementary to the high school. Our school-based mental health youth counselors, our substance abuse programs such as that are fully funded from these particular dollars. We also have Four Oaks and Hillcrest programs such as our suspension centers and some programming for regular ed students who are very at risk but don't qualify with special ed dollars. Those types of programs are also in here. We also have academic and behavior support programs, and the folks that come in to do those, the AmeriCorps workers, our foster grandparents. We also have some counselor intervention for at-risk youth and special programming and small groups that counselors do. Those would be kind of the main academic and behavior type support programs. And at the high school level, we also fund IJAG, which you probably heard, Iowa Jobs for Americans graduates, very much at-risk programming for our students. Those are kind of the main programs, and this year what we're looking to do, and we're still kind of in the planning process, we have a couple of more days before we have to certify at the state. We are looking at kind of beefing up secondary type programs. We have a gap at 10th grade. We have our 9th grade Connect program. We have a lot of programming for 11th and 12th graders at the ALC. So we are looking to kind of fill the gap at 10th grade this year. So that's kind of in a nutshell where our programs are.
Great. Any questions for Shirley? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there's any other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is a change order to Portson. I move that the Board of Education approve change order number 5 to Portson Construction Incorporated on the Dalzell Field renovation and Hempstead Field Improvements project in the amount of $17,882.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve change order number 5 to Portson Construction, Inc. on the Dalzell Field renovation and Hempstead Field Improvements project in the amount of $17,882.
Mr. President, I just might add that as with any project in this stage of the project's development, there's bound to be change orders of various kinds, things that were not necessarily anticipated. This is well within those ranges. I don't know if we need any more explanation.
That's why you have contingencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next is a motion relative to Sageville School. I move the Board of Education review the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the Sageville School air conditioning mechanical project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education review the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the Sageville School air conditioning mechanical project. Bill, do you want to make any comments to that? Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions?
No.
Been a good project. They're getting a lot of terrific things done at Sageville.
Indeed they are. With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next motion is simply the next motion in the process of that particular project. I move that the Board of Education set the date, time, and place for public hearing on the Sageville School air conditioning mechanical project as February 11, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at the Forum, 2300 Cheney Road, Dubuque, Iowa.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education has set the date, time, and place for public hearing on the Sageville School air conditioning mechanical project as February 11th, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at the Forum, 2300 Cheney Road, Dubuque, Iowa. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
As many, I think, people know, we're moving forward on what our plans for a memorial statue for commemorating Jay Burwanger and his accomplishments, and this next motion is related to that. I move that the Board of Education authorize the board president to sign a proposal with Vala Alla Studios Incorporated for the Jay Burwanger Memorial Statue in the amount of $86,500, with district to be reimbursed by the Dubuque Community School District Foundation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education authorize the board president to sign a proposal with Vala Ola Studios, Inc. for the Jay Burwanger Memorial Statue in the amount of $86,500.
Sure. Mr. President, I had the opportunity to meet with the Dubuque Community School District Foundation last week. They've been undergoing some strategic planning of their own and about fundraising. And one of the projects that they've taken on is the funding for the $86,500 for the statue. Tonight, as with all donations, we purchase it, they reimburse those funds so that the whatever it is that's being donated, in this case the statue, is the property of the school district. So I guess we'd want to be really clear that no taxpayer dollars are going to be spent on the statue. This is a fundraising effort by the foundation, which we very much appreciate. We are bringing this to the full board tonight instead of to the subcommittee in an attempt to make sure that the artist has as much time as necessary to complete the statue, so we will have it installed sometime in the fall for a grand opening. So the process will be, once this is acted on, we will notify Vala Ola of the our willingness or our ability to move forward, sign a contract. She will produce a miniature of the statue that will actually be the final one to be at Dalzell Field. So it's that presentation of the miniature that will allow for some the subcommittee and those folks to have some input onto the acceptability of the artist concept. So this simply allows us to contract, give her permission to move forward with the early processes of making the statue. The foundation is very comfortable with the dollar amount presented here and their ability to raise those funds. So.
But we're also looking to raise for the entire memorial project, which would include the wall that we're talking about. So it's not just limited to these dollars.
Absolutely not. No, this is the first phase of what will be a really inspiring entryway to Dalzell Field, to include a memorial relief wall and some other phases. So the $86,500 is strictly for the statue itself. It's not the pedestal. It's none of the other additional pieces that the foundation will begin a campaign to raise funds for.
Right, and we'll get to them, the foundation, the total dollar amount of what that project will be pretty soon.
That's correct.
Which pose are we looking at?
It is a Heisman-esque.
There's two of them in here.
There's two pictures,
yeah,
is it though?
It's the, and there's still.
The one on the right, I believe.
The one on the running one?
It looks on the auto will provide the model.
With the helmet.
Yeah.
Because that would have been, he played during a time where they wore helmets. Because they didn't play. With a leather helmet, no face mask.
Well, actually, it was one of the earlier face masks where it was a broken nose.
When he was in college,
yeah.
So it'll be very similar to the Heisman pose. Obviously, for copyright reasons, we can't have an exact duplicate of that.
Do we know for sure that we can't do an exact duplicate? Has anybody followed up with the Heisman folks?
I believe so.
Oh, they have actually done that. Okay.
There have been conversations with them.
I see. I was just curious. I think the pose here is awfully close.
Yeah.
But not exact.
No, it's not. It's nowhere near exact.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Thank you for clarifying that, Tom.
If you had an opportunity to watch the Heisman presentation on Saturday night, there was at one point before they went to commercial a picture of Jay Berwanger, and it was just kind of a neat to know the backstory there coming from Dubuque, Iowa. So
I like it.
It's a unique opportunity that we have.
Indeed it is. Any other discussion?
And it's free.
Kind for us, yes. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Mr.
carries.
President, if I could just make one more comment about support services. The Dalzell committee had the opportunity this last Thursday to take an official tour of the Dalzell site. And although it's not yet open to the public, and I wouldn't encourage anyone to breach any secure grounds to look at it, the group that attended, and several board members as well, Tammy and Otto and George and I, it is just amazing. It's just awe-inspiring, the work that's been done. I have to commend Bill and his team and the architects and frankly everyone involved in the process to see this thing come to fruition after all the months of planning and all the public input and having those special meetings with all of the various stakeholders that we had. And we have a lot to celebrate when it gets done, but at this stage it's really taking shape. It's very dramatic and it's very exciting. Just wanted to share that group is there. We actually took some photographs that we hope to have posted. So.
Yeah, that buzz you hear is there's just the groundswell in the community. I know a lot of people have approached me just even the last couple of weeks with the bleachers going in and the arches going in. I mean, people are starting to get a feel for what that place is going to be, and indeed it will be very special.
Stan's got a problem with the dugouts, though, but that's for another time.
Okay. As they say, moving on. Mr. Strelo, the Educational Programs Policy Strategy Committee.
We had a meeting which was wonderful. Went through some thrilling word changes to a couple of policies, and we even eliminated a policy. But we also mostly focused on our strategic plan and talked a lot. Lynn shared the at-risk allowable growth information, which we subsequently handed off to the facility services, to the facility group to bring the judgment forward. So I don't think we have any motions. One thing we did talk about a lot is rather than, our area covers so much vastness, we talked about coming up with some sort of goals and objectives as a committee so we could maybe, pick 3 or 4 or 5 things and take a big bite out of something as opposed to trying to do 100 or 200 things poorly. We would try and stay focused on 3 or 4 things and see if we couldn't do them well. So.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Strelo?
Just one question about reporting out on educational programs. I think on an annual basis, there's a report out on alternative high school programs, Connect, kind of what the numbers are. And forgive me, I don't know the exact timing of that. I just wonder if that's coming soon or if that's on the horizon.
We can definitely arrange for that. I think we reported out 3 times last year during the course of the year. And I think we're waiting for the strategic plan to see what the indicators are that the board's interested in.
Okay. Just wondered about the relative timing of that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Strelo. New business.
I move that the Board of Education set the date, time, and place for public hearing on the 2013-2014 school calendar for February 11th, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at the Forum.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education set the date, time, and place for public hearing on the 2013-14 school calendar for February 11th, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at the Forum. Any background you want to?
Just simply that normally that comes to, or it has in the past come to the second board meeting in January. We don't have a second meeting, so we've moved it back a couple of weeks. But prior to that, there will be substantial amount of time for staff and community input. We will get that posted to our website and make an opportunity available for folks to ask questions or voice concerns or approval as to what the proposed calendar will be for next year. We will also look at putting some other samples out there, maybe not the recommendations for next year, but some future-looking samples about what alternative calendars might look like, as that's part of our strategic plan to start that study. Obviously, we're not in a place to enact that next year, but at least to start some of that conversation by showing people what some alternate possibilities might be for the future, assuming legislative changes and those types of things may change what that would look like down the road.
Just one quick thought on the calendar. We've had some schools that have had every Wednesday early release for 10 years. And isn't there a point where one more week of early release and staff time isn't going to make that much of a difference? I mean, when you do the math on a 6-year career of a kid, losing 2 hours a week times 42 weeks a year times 6 years, that is a lot of instructional time that some kids in some schools are missing. I understand the concept behind it. I know that we need to do, that there's a certain amount of planning that can go into, like a school in need of assistance, for example. Boy, I haven't been on the other end of some of those early releases. At some point, we might want to sharpen the edge a little bit on what we're doing there. Just at least take a good look at it. Just my quick thought. Anyway, you're the boss and that kind of stuff, but I just...
Well, in a perfect world, Tom, we would probably go the other direction and have access to additional professional development time that didn't infringe upon class time. I would agree with that. I do think that there are needs for professional development, but that's something we'll have to discuss, and like I said, if we had the money to be able to afford it and a contract that would support it, we would do all of our professional development either as job embedded, so while the kids are in the classroom and it's sort of hands-on, and that's a great way to do it, which you'll see is in the strategic plan, or outside of interfering with any student's educational time. Unfortunately, that we're not quite at that point yet.
2 hours a week, every week. Boy, I don't know. Anyway.
I have one question about the February 11th public hearing. Are we also going to be voting that evening too on the calendar, or what is it going to be in March?
Traditionally, we have, depending, again, because we'll have an opportunity to get some drafts out there, take some input. Folks may come, though traditionally they haven't, to the podium that night, and because it is a hearing, voice their input, but traditionally that is the meeting at which we do vote on the calendar for the following year.
And I would suspect that if we had a groundswell of new information all of a sudden come to us, certainly it's always something that we can pull and deal with later in terms of
certainly that process will be tweaked in future years as we look at a more potentially far-reaching change. But my anticipation that calendar for next year will not be vastly different than the calendar this year, just because there are too many what-ifs. Again, the legislative session could potentially make some significant changes to number of student days, teacher contract days, those types of things. Plus, we haven't really prepared our community yet to go much beyond what the traditional agrarian-based calendar has been. And so, certainly if there's pause at that meeting to slow down and to push it back, we certainly could do that at that time. But barring that, I would think we would have the information we needed in advance of that meeting.
I'm glad to hear you're going to put some alternatives out there in addition to what maybe look a lot like this year's calendars. Sure. I do think getting that discussion started sooner than later is going to enable us, hopefully, with some latitude from the legislature to get some things going.
Well, and we want to start in sort of a non-threatening way. We want to put things out there, start the conversation, and see what is first and foremost best for kids, and secondly, what conforms to what the community's desires are as well.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the physical education exemption request form as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the physical education exemption request form as submitted. Lynn, I'm told you might have a little background on this you could share with us.
This is a waiver that needs yearly approval. So this is the fourth year that you've seen this. The first time we saw it with regard to senior high school. And in the meantime, we looked at the results of the program and it included Hempstead. So basically the Iowa Code requires that physical education be offered throughout the entire school year. 4 years ago, Senior looked at the opportunity to offer wellness and health physical education 5 days a week for an entire semester, and provided for us quite a bit of impressive data in terms of student attitudes and student progress in that area. So we invited Hempstead to look at that 3 years ago. They agreed, and we have from that point gone forward. So this exemption is about offering consistent 5 days a week health, wellness. Second semester, it is true the students are still involved in physical activities, those that are choosing to be involved, but we're hoping that they carry through on a personal basis with their health and wellness goals.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Lynn? Thank you, Lynn. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to maybe first board members. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss at the table?
Mr. President, I have one issue, and I guess it concerns the transportation facility that's currently located at Dubuque Senior High. On the summer project list was an item to start looking at doing some resurfacing for that facility that will take place over a number of years and be a fairly substantial project, over $500,000 for that resurfacing. And I guess before I would ask that we consider, or have the administration consider, the long-term strategic impact of where that transportation facility should be located. And I guess I would suggest that right now at Senior High, there's about half as much parking as there is at Hempstead, so we're deficient on parking. The transportation facility also, I've always been told, does not have room for growth out there. When the bus doors change, how they open and shut, it causes problems, and we don't have enough space for all the buses and all the people to park up there. And if we're going to do any additions at Senior High, we're going to need mobilization area, and probably many of those additions would probably likely go on the east side of the building, which further increases on parking. So when you look at parking, potential additions, baseball field, lack of green space that, we're already a field short to what Hempstead has, and the transportation facility, in my mind, the transportation facility is the one that would be the least valuable of those four. So I think, in order to avoid potential negative costs down the road, that we should, before we embark on, a very substantial improvement of that parking lot up there for the transportation facility, it would be a good time to maybe think strongly about what the long-term strategic location for that should be and how that impacts the lack of space currently on the Senior High campus. So I'm just throwing that out. I've talked to Stan and Bill about that, and I believe we're going to start looking at that, but I wanted to bring that to the attention of the full board and the community as something that, I guess in my long-term vision of Senior High, when I look out to the east, I never see the transportation facility there. So hopefully, I guess, we'll see what you come up with, but I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis. Yes.
I'd like to just mention that some of my discussions with the leaders of the city have not been in vain, and I appreciate the city council goals and priorities, and just so happens that one of their high priorities is indoor aquatic center evaluation, direction, and school partnership. That's where we're at on that. So as we continue those discussions, I know we'll be getting updates from the committee. I believe it is an RFP going to be, do you have the latest on that, Kevin?
Kevin, do you want to?
There's several committee members working on the RFP, hoping to finish it up this week sometime. Then it will go to the full joint committee to review, and after that has gone through that process, we will be bringing it both to the Board of Education as well as to the City Council for them to review, hopefully with the intent to go out sometime in February.
And I think it's important to note that RFP is to simply do some community assessment, try to define and scope the project. Obviously, no decisions have been made about where or how much, but I think it's important. I know we've had the discussion at the board level. I think it's important for the community to understand that we know we have certain needs from a competition perspective, and that's really what we will weigh off any ultimate solution with that might come out of this committee. So we are excited to be at the table and in partnership with the city on that. But we'll anxiously look forward to the results of that community assessment, because we do know what we need, and there's pieces that I think we believe the city needs, and we'll obviously have to balance those as we look at locations, costs, scopes of the project. So, thank you, Mr. Kruger. Anyone else? I have one item. I haven't had a chance to reach out to my fellow colleagues yet, but now that we have completed most of the work, not quite all the work around the strategic plan, I know that one of the things that we as a board have looked at doing is coming up with an evaluation process for our superintendent. And so I'm going to be asking a small group of the board to assist in that. And that's our next step, I think, is making sure that we've got a sound and viable process in place beyond what's required by statute, so that we can provide good and valuable feedback to our superintendent. So take my call if you would. When I do, it would be most appreciated. So, any administrative issues that we've got?
I don't have any. I don't believe so.
Hearing none. Preview of the upcoming board meeting.
Our next board meeting is in January, I believe on the 14th. At that meeting, we will begin our conversation around how we will start to benchmark the strategic plan, and we laid out a lot of goals. The work that went into the strategic plan will likely pale in comparison to the next stages for the upcoming years as the actual implementation phases. So we'll want to be pretty clear on where we're at, what the starting point is, and how we'll know if we're moving the needle going forward. So we'll look at some specifics about what data will give us that information, at least initially, and start to put together some timelines on some things that will make education even stronger here in Dubuque for our students. So that'll be an interesting meeting.
Very good. Last call. Hearing nothing, we are adjourned.